Everybody, and welcome back to Slowpoke Racing and to the Ultimate Racing League, sponsored by Eldridge Air Conditioning. Now, this is round 7 of our BTCC Replica Championship. A little bit behind because due to holidays, I missed these 2 rounds and there were some technical hitches which stopped them being shared, but blah, blah, blah. Never mind. We are here now. I believe this is the final round, actually, because I can't find any more after this. So this could be the final round, which is a shame. It's been some fantastic racing, actually, from these guys. So we're going to crack on with it. We are over in, still in America. We were at Laguna Seca last week, and a few of the guys will be glad to see the back of that and start all over again. We're in a town called Dix at Watkins Glen. Now we are on the short track. Most people will know Watkins Glen for the long track. A fantastic circuit. I absolutely love this circuit. But we are on the short track. Only 7 turns, 2.4 miles long, but some fantastic racing ahead of us, I am sure. So without further ado, let's have a look down the grid, shall we, and see where everybody is. Brian Moncani has got himself on pole position. Grasshopper is just behind him in second. Thomas is in third. Well, change of livery for Thomas. He's still in the Ford Focus, but he's gone for the Napa livery now, looking splendid. Rossi, missed Laguna Seca, did Rossi, but he's back on the grid now and sitting in 4th. Chris is 5th, Hawkeye 6th, and Phaser is 7th. So quite a few of the guys missing. Hodgie, Dan are missing. I can't think of who else. Carlsberg is missing. So quite a few of the guys missing. But I'm sure we're in for a good race nevertheless. So shall we get this one underway? Get them lights out and let's get racing. Grid start as normal as Brian McCartney gets us away on the soft tyres. Grasshopper just tucking in behind him as they head towards turn 1, and it is going to be Brian that gets in there first. Now then, who is that? It looks like Hawkeye making a bit of a late move up the inside into turn 1, but Brian McCartney holding on to that P1. Grasshopper pushing him all the way. Then we've got Chris. He's got a great start as Chris, as he's now alongside Thomas. Oh, a bit of a coming together for them two. Bit of a squirrel there for Thomas, but managed to hold on to it. Chris dropping into 4th as they head down the back straight towards the inner loop. Now then, from Watkins Glen, they do not count the turns at the chicane. They just call it the inner loop. So we're now already on to turn 5, which is the outer loop. This long sweeping right-hander. Normally you would turn off to the left, somebody just clipping the cones there, but now we carry straight on up towards turn 6. Normally, I can't remember what it would be, normally turn 9 I think this would be, but turn 6 for the short track. Oh, as Thomas goes very wide again, he's already picked up half a second, and oh, he's gone sideways. Fantastic drifting from Thomas, and he's hold on to P3 as well. A brilliant drift around the final turn and across the start-finish line to start lap 2. Chris still sitting in 4th. Now it is Rossi. He's going to put a challenge in at turn 1. Can he get that car slowed down enough? You don't want to go drifting out too far to the left, otherwise you will pick up a penalty. But Rossi's still on the inside of Chris. Chris just about had his nose in front, but has got to go the long way round now and decides to slot in behind Rossi and pick up some slipstream. Great move from Rossi into turn 1. Chris losing a few spots here. He's down into 5th, Phaser in 6th, and then we've got Hawkeye in 7th. Up at the top, and we've had a change of the lead. Let's have a go back and have a look and see where that happened as we come through the S's. So I think Grasshopper, yeah, he got himself in the right position on the inside of Brian Moncani and sort of nudged his way through there. So Grasshopper up into the lead of this race, but Brian Moncani isn't going to give that up without a fight, is he? Excuse me. Both on the soft tyres, so no advantage to be made through the tyres. Grasshopper a much better drive through the inner loop and has opened up a bit of a gap now back to Brian Moncani. Just a couple of car lengths, but the gap is there nevertheless, so Brian Moncani is going to have to push to get back up into the back of Grasshopper, and that's exactly what he's doing as they come into turn 6 for the second time, up towards the final turn at 7. Oh, a bit of a slide there from Grasshopper, but managed to hold on to it. Brian Moncani, that's going to give him the opportunity to get a little bit closer to Grasshopper. He's in the slipstream as they head across the line and down towards turn 1 for the third time. Thomas still sitting in third. Now remember, these guys can use the nitrous. Let's have a look at this battle just behind. Chris just returning the favour on Rossi, but Rossi gets the old switcheroo. Fantastic move from Rossi. Chris nudged his way into fourth, but Rossi just a little bit later, earlier on the brakes, and that pulled him into a tighter line through that turn. Great move from Rossi to get up into fourth position again. Chris now down in fifth, and he's got a mirror full of Fraser. Fraser? Who's Fraser? Fraser though with a half a second penalty as they come towards the inner loop. These laps are just absolutely flying by, aren't they? On lap 3 already. It is a 20-minute race. Oh, Fraser's now. Oh dear me, let's have a look and see what happened to Fraser, because he's got that half a second penalty, but I think there was a problem going through the inner loop, the chicane, because that half a second has been, well, not even double, it's gone further than that, up to 2 seconds. Now then, was it because of cutting corner? I didn't really see a great deal wrong with that. I know he took a chunk out the corner entering, but I didn't see a massive amount wrong with that. That's harsh. That is very harsh for Fraser, but 2 seconds it is, so Hawkeye is definitely going to move up. So there we go. Fraser serves the penalty. Hawkeye goes through. Chris into fifth. Fraser now down to seventh, and a bit of catching up to do. Personally, I think that was a bit cruel. That was unlucky for Fraser. 2 seconds, well, 1.5 seconds just for cutting a little bit of a corner. Brian Moncani back in the lead. Grasshopper just behind him. I've got a feeling these two are going to be chopping and changing the lead all the way around this track as Grasshopper starts to push again. Oh, he's picked up that half a second penalty. That must have been at turn 1. So he really needs to get in front of Brian Moncani and open up a gap, which I don't think he's going to get done. He may get the move done, but Brian Moncani will just take it straight back off of him again as they come up towards the inner loop, and it's Brian that gets there first. Got to be careful. Penalties being dished out very easily today. Now then, Grasshopper, could he get another one on top of that half a second? Seemed to take a good chunk out the exit of that turn, but got away with it. Just about to serve his penalty now. Bang, brakes on. Now that's not affected him too much actually. He's still within touching distance of Brian Moncani. He's just got to push just that little bit harder, but I think he's in the slipstream. So Grasshopper back at Brian again. Rossi up to third now. So Rossi made a move on Thomas. Apologies, we missed that one. But Rossi now up to third in that Renault. Thomas in the Focus. Rossi using a fair bit of his nitrous already though, and Thomas got plenty of it left. So Rossi using the nitrous very early to make his way up to third and get himself on the podium at the minute. He's on the soft tyres. Thomas on the medium, so he'll be on the softs for the second race. Thomas just seems quite happy to just sit there behind Rossi in the slipstream at the minute, knowing that Rossi has got the advantage as far as tyres go at the minute. That will start to change in the latter part of the race though, as Rossi's soft tyres start to wear out and the mediums kick in. Chris in fifth, with Hawkeye in sixth. Hawkeye carrying a 1 second penalty. That's the trouble with Watkins Glen. The penalties get handed out very easily. It is a fantastic track, but yeah, you do get handed some penalties. And then Fraser down in seventh, still playing catch up, not really recovered from the earlier penalty he picked up. We're also missing Unforgiven. He had a disastrous race, didn't he, at Laguna Seca. Maybe decided enough's enough and didn't want to turn up to this one. We don't know. But Brian Moncani and Grasshopper, this is where the battle seems to be. Should we jump on board with Grasshopper? We'll sit in the passenger seat. Have a good look at what's going on here. Now then, is Grasshopper going to make the move for the inner loop? I don't think he is. He's just going to sit there behind Brian. Fantastic racing those from these two. Not touching. It is very close. It is very clean. It is very respectful between the two of them. Brian Moncani really hugging that inside line. He doesn't want to give any opportunity to Grasshopper. He doesn't want to open the door even the slightest little bit, does he? Making that Toyota Atenza as wide and as fat as he possibly can. going into these turns. Grasshopper just piling the pressure on at the minute, and I think he's quite happy to just continue to do that. This is going to help his fuel, it is going to help his tyres in sitting in the slipstream. Brian Mulcahy trying to break that slip. You can see him pull to the inside. Grasshopper really not interested. Doesn't want to get into the slipstream. Brian Mulcahy, he's not really that bothered. You can see he didn't follow him as Grasshopper takes quite a chunk out of the turn 1, which you can do actually. It is just on the exit of turn 1 you want to be careful drifting too far to the left. So good battle in between these two. Now then, Grasshopper again into the slipstream. We'll just stick with them as we go up towards the inner loop, and then we'll see what's happening elsewhere. I don't think Grasshopper is going to get the move done, is he, on Brian this time around? Thomas in third. Ooh, 1.5 second penalty for Thomas, but also for Rossi as well. So those two are playing follow my leader. Thomas has retaken P3 from Rossi. Well, shall we go back and have a look? Let's see if we can go back and find out where they picked that up. Oh, it's a long way. No. We'll not bother. We'll not bother. So, yeah, unfortunately we missed that, but both Rossi and Thomas picked up 1.5 seconds each, so they'll both serve that together. So no real change as far as track position goes for them. The only one that might benefit is going to be Chris. He would have been told over the radio that the guys in front have got 1.5 second penalty each. Is he going to get close enough to make a move on them? He's certainly going to get him a bit closer, but no, he's too far back to make. Or is he? He's got the momentum. It may actually take him past Rossi, and it has. So Chris just managed to get the drop on Rossi after having serving that penalty. Thomas gone away with it, has managed to hold on to P3. Chris now into 4th, with Rossi in 5th. In fact, let's have a go on board with Rossi for a few turns, shall we? As we chase Chris down now, Rossi will be looking to take P4. Oh, Chris very deep into turn 1, which then forces Rossi wide as he tries to avoid the collision. And I think he's going to get a penalty for that. Yeah, all 1 second. Ouch. He does move up into P4. It was a mistake from Chris into turn 1, and Rossi tried to avoid running into the back of Chris, and in doing so went very wide and has been given a 1 second penalty for his trouble. So Chris will retake P4 away from Rossi. That is unlucky for Rossi, really. You can see the bar starting to fill up, and the brakes will be applied about now. There we go. Ooh, Chris. It's a good job Rossi ghosted as Chris drives straight through him. I'm sure that sent a shiver down Rossi's spine. So Rossi back into 5th and has got the work to do again. In the meantime, Thomas is trying to pull away and open up a gap between the two guys behind him. Out in front though, these two still at it. It is Brian Mulcahy leading from Grasshopper, although Grasshopper having a good old sniff around the rear end of that Atenza. Grasshopper decides now's the time to make his move, but slams into the barrier. I'll be surprised if he's got a wing mirror left after that. That was a big hit. In fact, let's have a look. Yeah, he's got damage as well. So Grasshopper now with damage at the front and on the right hand side of his car. That will affect the aero, so let's just see if it handles okay for Grasshopper to keep going. If not, he's going to have to come into the pits to get that damage repaired. Now that is going to hinder him. Brian Mulcahy would have seen that, and he's going to start to try and pull away now and open up an even bigger gap back to Grasshopper. Grasshopper with a big decision. Does he come into the pits to get that damage repaired, or does he keep going? There is quite a gap back to Thomas, but I think if Grasshopper came into the pits, then Thomas would definitely move up into P2. So my guess is that Grasshopper's going to stay out with that damage. Both on soft tyres, about 40% wear on the front left. With this being a clockwise track, it is the left hand side of the car, the tyres that take the punishment. So Brian Mulcahy with a few car length gap between himself and Grasshopper. Thomas in 3rd. He's got quite a decent gap back to Chris in 4th. Rossi in 5th, having served that penalty which dropped him down to 5th. He's now got a bit of catching up to do to get back onto Chris and put him under some kind of pressure. Chris on the softs. Let's just have a look at the tyres, shall we? Brian and Grasshopper both on the softs, Thomas on the mediums. Then we've got Chris and Rossi, Hawkeye, everybody else on softs. So in race 2 then, it is going to be Thomas with the advantage as far as tyres goes, because he's going to be on the soft tyres. Although I think the tyre wear is ramped up a little bit. Thomas may suffer from that excessive tyre wear. We shall see when we get to race 2. So still out in front is Brian Moncarney. He's had to work for it, hasn't he? But that mistake from Grasshopper when he tried to make the move as they started up through the S's, which is where Brian is just coming through now. He's gone through turn 2, through turn 3, and it was about here that Grasshopper made that mistake, slammed into the barrier as Brian leads this race in towards the inner loop then for the 11th time. We are over halfway now with 7 minutes to go. So Brian just got to hold on for 7 minutes. Grasshopper is going to keep pushing despite the damage that he's got at the front of his BMW. Thomas sitting in third at the minute. Looking quite comfortable actually is Thomas. Still got plenty of nitrous left if he wants to use it. He is on the medium tyres. Chris sitting in fourth now, then a bit of a gap opening up between himself and Rossi, but look at the tyres on Chris's car. He's got 6.5 minutes to go. I'll be surprised if they make it to the end of the race. That front left, there's got to be about 60%, something like that, where Rossi, not much better to be fair, on his front left, and they are going to start to feel it now. The grip is going to start to disappear. This is a very fast circuit, and again I would say more than 80% of it is full throttle, which is why the tyres are being punished so much. You can just see Chris has picked up half a second, which I don't think is going to affect him. He should be able to maintain P4 having served that penalty. The gap's there between himself and Rossi, but we'll stick with Chris just to see what happens, unless Rossi can get a little bit closer as they go down the back straight towards the inner loop for the 12th time. Careful you don't pick any more penalties up, guys, and you can see the bar starting to fill up above the car of Chris. So brakes will be slammed on. This is going to be close. This is going to be close. Now then, has Rossi got the momentum? He is now right alongside Chris, and I think it is. Rossi is going to be first into turn. Oh, and he's gone wide. He's gone wide. I'm just going to go back and have a look at this because, again, it may be that... Oh, come on. I'm in the wrong car, aren't I? There we go, that's what I wanted. I wonder why I wasn't green. So Chris is going to serve his penalty. Serves it, bang, back on the power again. Rossi's got the momentum, and it carries him up towards turn 6. Now then, as they enter into turn 6, oh, Rossi just couldn't get that car slowed down enough, could he? And Chris slips back up into P4, and Rossi, he may well pick a penalty up. Yeah, there we go, half a second penalty for breaking track limits at the exit of turn 6, so that was unlucky. And we've had a change of lead. It is Grasshopper now has got the move done on Brian Moncarney. Brian Moncarney is going to fight back though, and Grasshopper still carrying that damage on the BMW, but it doesn't seem to have affected it too much, as he leads Brian Moncarney around the outer loop at turn 5 and down towards turn 6. So it is Grasshopper leading this race with 4 minutes, just approaching 4 minutes left around the final turn at turn 7, back onto the start finish straight and across the line to start lap 14. So let's jump on board with Grasshopper, shall we, and see it from his point of view. Into turn 1 then. Don't go too far to the right, as long as you keep one wheel on that red and yellow or orange and yellow curb, you're okay. A quick look behind, Brian Moncani is there looming through the S's then at turns 2, 3 and 4 onto the back straight. Another quick look behind to see where Brian is as we approach the inner loop. This right, left, right. You can take a bit of the curb, but you don't want to take too much. And then we're into turn 5, which is the outer loop, and it is this long sweeping right-hander, almost hairpin bend, powering out back onto the straight. Another quick look behind, Brian Moncani is there, but not putting us under any pressure at the minute. Into turn 6 then. This is where Rossi came undone. He just couldn't get the car slowed down, but Grasshopper did a good job there. Into turn 7 and back onto the start finish straight, trying to avoid that wall on the left and across the start finish line. Fastest man on track at the minute is Brian Moncani with a 1:11.8, although the pace has dropped off a little bit for him. Mind you, the tyres are wearing down very quickly. His last lap was a 1:14 and that's been quite steady for him, but you can see the difference because of the tyre wear. He's done 4 or 5 laps of 1:14s, then previously it was 1:13s, then it was a 12. So 2 minutes left. Thomas still sitting in third on the medium tyres, plenty of grip left in them. Rossi really pushing these soft tyres. If they do ramp the tyre wear up in race 2, I think Thomas may struggle, because these guys are not going to have a lot of tyre left at the end of this race, and Rossi's managed to shake Chris off and open up quite a decent gap between himself, so Rossi's pretty much secured P4. He's not going to get close enough to Thomas, so the podium is going to look quite familiar actually of Grasshopper, Brian Moncani and Thomas. They really have got a taste for the champagne, haven't they, and they don't want to let anybody else have any. Chris in 5th, Hawkeye in 6th and Fazer down in 7th. It's either Fazer has come into the pits and put a fresh set of boots on, or he really has looked after his tyres. I would suspect he's come into the pits, judging by everybody else's tyres. Grasshopper on the softs, well, he's looked after his tyres remarkably well actually, and he always does. It's quite surprising how he does it, but he does manage to look after his tyres. Brian Moncani in 2nd, his tyres really are starting to hurt now, and I think it's going to be a struggle for Brian Moncani to catch and overtake Grasshopper now. Let's have a look at the time. We have about 35 seconds to go, so I think these guys will get one more lap in. Brian Moncani though struggling the front left. There is hardly anything on it at all. I'm just keeping an eye on the time as well as they come up to the start finish line as Fazer goes. Fazer's homing into view, so Grasshopper and Brian Moncani have got to get past him. Thomas will finish first, I believe, as he comes around turn 7, heading towards the line. He's got 3, 2, 1, that's it. So Thomas should finish first, and he does in 3rd. Well done to Thomas on the medium tyres. Rossi around the final turn then. He will be looking at the checkered flag now and finishing in 4th position. Good racing from Rossi. Chris, good start to the race, just seemed to come undone for him towards the end, but a good 5th position for Chris. And then we've got Hawkeye across the line carrying a penalty in 6th. Fazer will finish in 7th. Cones everywhere, but it is going to be Grasshopper coming up to Fazer now. Then is Fazer going to get out of his way, or is he going to hold him up? Brian Moncani not close enough. He's struggling on his tyres, is Brian Moncani. Fazer is going to race Grasshopper all the way to the end. He definitely is not going to get lapped, does he? He just does not want to get lapped, does Fazer. So Fazer's going to finish in 7th, but he's going to lead Grasshopper across the line to take the win. Brian Moncani concedes it, and well, he will eventually finish in 2nd. So well done to them. Don't hit the barrier, Brian. You don't want to be doing that, do you? Come on. well, donuts all round. But Brian will finish in second. So that was race 1 here at Watkins Glen for round 7. Join me very shortly for race 2 and the final race of the series, I believe, as well. Catch you all soon.